For any Yankee fans looking for a podcast to listen to, I suggest you check out NYY Sports Talk.
Are you listening?
Tune into the fellas.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no BS, there's no drama. You just feel like you're with the fellas talking baseball.
Welcome back. This is episode 226 of the NYYST podcast. I'm your host, Christian, as always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You
And SGR.
what up? He made it Twitter official. Did you see that?
Who?
SGR. He made it Twitter official.
You
He
changed
his name to
You
SGR.
changed your name?
Yeah,
When
I
you
went
brand it a certain way,
official.
you gotta make it official.
Yeah, it's dedicated SGR from now on.
Did you do shrooms tonight? Because you seem out of it.
I'm tired,
Long week.
but I did do shrooms also.
Nice, good.
Did you really do shrooms?
I wish, man. I want to do shrooms for the pod
That would actually be a great way
and
to
not
go
tell you
out.
guys. So if you might have guessed it, like that would have been a good guess. But
Have you
mm-mm,
ever
not this episode?
Have you ever done shrooms?
Maybe.
I have. I haven't because I'm still alive. And if I did shrooms, I wouldn't be alive.
I couldn't. I'll be honest
I'm
with you.
convinced if I did shrooms, dead. I'd be dead.
I could not handle shrooms at my age.
You can
When I did-
microdose.
What's
when
that
I-
mean?
It's kind of like a prescription version where it's like they
Is that the opposite
really-
of overdose?
Yeah, maybe, but I think that's legal in like Oregon or something right now.
I don't know if I
shroomies.
could really recommend doing shrooms.
Have you done shrooms?
I did them once.
You ate a whole mushroom?
I ate it in a chocolate bar.
Okay,
Mhm.
because I gotta say that it's got to be a little unrealistic. Like anyone who's done shrooms out there, you can let us know by leaving a 5-star rating review and leaving us a comment, incriminating
sh-
yourself about
On
your shroom experience. But like, I see the people who just like on TV and in movies, they just like pop the shroom in their mouth and they're just like, that was great. Like, give me another one. And it's like, I fucking hate regular mushrooms. So there's no way I could just pop it and be cool.
Oh,
I-
No,
that would-
I heard that I never ate them straight up. I heard it's like one of the most disgusting experiences that you could have because I think they literally grow in shit and you can't wash them or else I guess some
or
of
you
the
wash the
hallucinogen-
magic off.
Yeah, you wash the magic off. So I guess people bake them in chocolate, which is how I had it. They're less potent when you eat them in chocolate, which thank God, because honestly, I don't think I could have handled more of an experience than I had.
Why wouldn't you cook it in like soup, like in a traditional, like, or like pop it on your pizza or something? Like, why would you put it into like chocolate mushroom?
Mm.
It just doesn't go.
It's-
I don't
yeah.
know. All I
Like-
know is that we're sitting there, like an hour goes by, and my buddy's like, "Oh, these are bullshit." And I'm like, "Dude, I just spent $40 on fucking mushrooms, and you telling me they're bullshit?" So we're leaving, and all of a sudden, like we're driving down the road, and he slams on the fucking
Responsible.
brakes.
That's responsible.
Well,
Keep going.
I was told that the shrooms weren't working.
They
so,
weren't working. They were done.
So he slams on the brakes. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "There's a deer in the middle of the road." I said, "There's no fucking deer in the middle of the road." He goes, "Dude, it's right out in front of the car." Now, you know Annie's Road in Totowa,
Yeah, oh yeah.
right? Getting out of the car
Yeah.
in the pitch black on that road is not a smart
Mhm.
idea, right?
No,
yeah,
being on that
bad
road,
idea.
just driving on it in the dark is not a smart idea.
So this is me. I get out of the car and I said, "Bro, there's no fucking deer here. Like I'm standing in front of the car. Where's the deer?" And I see him laughing in the car, and he goes, "The shrooms hit."
That would have been a better story if you walked out and you were like, "Dude, it's not a deer. It's a fucking bear. Run." And then the shrooms hit you 10 times harder.
The shrooms hit me about 20 minutes later because then he's like, "I can't drive. I'm on shrooms." So he calls his sister, and this was like early 2000s. So this is when like house music, like do 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 do, like
Yeah, like
it was
fist
like
bump.
yeah, like that's when my era of fist bumping was in. So his sister was pounding this club music in the car.
Oh, glad
and,
you
like-
didn't end a different way there. Keep
Yeah.
going.
So I'm all of a sudden I'm looking up, and I'm not even kidding you. I swear to Christ, the MPH on her dashboard jumped off and started dancing in perfect harmony to the beat of the
Oh,
music.
That's fucking. You know what? You're kind of convincing me.
So then I'm like, dude, I can't. I'm like saying to myself, like, I'm bugging out in the back of the car, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I roll down the window, and I look outside. And have you ever been to like the state fair when you get one of those giant green aliens that you get like the sugar drink out of?
No, because I'm a normal human being. But keep going.
oof.
So you've never seen one of them before.
No.
So
All right. Giant green alien. You fucking drink out of its head, right?
yeah, so that's what I saw was standing outside side of the car.
That's great. Anyone who's not watching, I'll sorry if this kind of throws you off here. And if you do want to watch, go to our YouTube page, hit the like button, subscribe. I got to ask you, are you going for like a Stanton mustache right now, or is your camera just a little grainy?
Who, Ryan?
No, you.
No, it's
You
all
look like you got a
scruff.
good stash going.
No, it just looks darker.
Just the
but it's
lighting.
yeah.
Just the lighting.
Yeah. So why don't you people buy some t-shirts so we can afford new equipment here?
Please.
Yeah.
Please. I don't even want to like. We're gonna run a campaign for the Sterling shirts that we came out with, but I can't even do it right now because it's counterproductive. It's a waste of money because the enthusiasm in Yankee land right now is not
Herb.
good. It's not high, and you want to do things like that when the fan base is on a high. And a season that we thought was going to be all rise all the time, they're making it a little difficult for us. And I'm got to say I'm pretty frustrated after this last series. I'm getting there.
So the season's over, right? That's what you're saying.
Season's over. Well, the season was over last episode.
The season was over 4 episodes ago.
Yeah. No, I'm obviously very rational still. I have no worry in the world that this team's going to be fine. It doesn't mean that after a full year, because like last year was great, but we were watching our first games in what, July, August at that
It
point.
was like July. I think opening day was July 23rd last year.
Like to have a real season right now, we're starting to get into the warmer weather, whatever. You're getting a full season of baseball, and to start the first 12 games 5-7 is pretty. It's pretty frustrating to say the least. And the way they've lost, it's. I mean, I think that's really you go week 1 of the season where the team's just not hitting, but pitching phenomenal. So you kind of, it kind of makes up for it. And now the second week of the season, the pitching sucks outside of Garrett Cole, and the hitting's like, kind of there.
Starting pitching, yeah, it's been pretty terrible behind Cole.
So the Yankees just completed. We're recording Thursday night. The Yankees just completed yesterday 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays, where they won the first game because Garrett Cole was pitching, and then they lost the final 2 games yesterday, being a walk-off. Bichette hit his second home run in the game
Fuck
against
that
Chad.
motherfucker, man.
And both of his home runs, man, I didn't think they were landing where they ended up. I mean, just a lot of power from Bo Bichette. He's a good player.
He's a Yankee killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good team
Bobo.
over there.
Yeah, they're good.
The problem is that the Yankees are supposed to be better, and they're not acting like it right now. It's the Yankees are 5-7. Let's put it in context. They're 5-7. They've won 1 series so far, and it was against the Baltimore Orioles, which I don't even count. You can't,
No,
I
like
don't
a
even know
little
if I
league
can
team.
count it because honestly, like they actually lost to the Orioles. What would they were on like an 18-game home winning streak against the Orioles?
Yeah, if they swept them, that would have been a different story. Like maybe I'd give them a little credit for it, but they actually lost the game to the Orioles.
And here's what the problem is that you're looking at regression now. I know it's 12. Look, we're going to get into this in a little bit. I'm not going to overreact to 12 games. And somebody said to me today, well, what if they were 10-2? Would you be, because my whole thing in the past couple of days is the season's not over. After 12 games, the season's not over. Even though they're 5-7, it's also not an indictment on the team that they're going to be hovering around 500 all year, because we should all have watched enough Yankee baseball at this point, especially with this core group, to know that sometimes they just stumble out of the blocks. It's just Ryan, what did you say yesterday? This was the record after 12 games in 2019, and they won 103 games that year.
Okay, so I
Yep.
was actually just going on Baseball Reference to go to the 2019 season because I think it got worse from here. I think they actually at one point, and I'm gonna check it right now. I could be wrong because this was the year with the Marlins series that we went to, Christian, I believe.
Say that
Did you
again?
hear? Did you hear me? You froze a bit.
Yeah.
2019, was that the year we went to the Marlins series? It was fucking freezing cold and the team
No,
sucked.
that was 18.
That was 18. All right, so maybe I'm thinking 18. I believe at one point in 18, they were like 10-14 after 24 games, and it took that long. But then they turned it up and won 100 games.
I don't know.
Look, it's frustrating, and look, I I don't. I sometimes when I get aggravated, I can't put the words into context because I'm so mad, and it's aggravating. I use four different terms for how pissed off I was uh yesterday after, because I didn't finish watching the game till about 8:30. I was out all day. I came home, I watched the game. Stupid me, right? To sit there and have to delay that fucking pain. Uh
Yeah.
but my whole thing is that, you know, you can be somebody. We said this last episode, and I'm going to say it again because it needs to be said again. You can be, look, we always say this, two things can be true at the same time. I am not happy with the performance of this team. Outside of Garrett Cole, name me one, and Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Cole and Aroldis Chapman. Give me another player that you're actually truly happy with their performance right now. There's some guys that have played well. Gary's played well. Judge has shown a pulse a little bit, especially yesterday with the 2 home runs. But name Gio's been okay. But name me somebody that you're actually truly saying, I'm happy with their performance outside of Cole and Chapman. You can't do it, can you?
Um, I probably would have thrown Loizaga in there until the other day when he struggled a little bit, even though he got out of trouble pretty much. I think he gave up a run.
Yeah, but they were
But it
they
wasn't
were in
even-
position to win the game. They were in position to win
Yeah,
the game.
why'd that run score, Christian?
Why did I don't again I didn't see that inning, even though I was DVRing the
I'm
game.
pretty sure that was the inning that Higashioka had the
Right,
pass
it
ball.
was.
Was
Yes.
was it a pass ball?
I think it was probably deemed a wild pitch,
But didn't the run didn't
but
he
it was
the,
more than blockable.
but isn't that also the inning that he hit a guy on like an 0-2 count?
Yeah, or it was
Yeah, no,
2-2
I'm not
maybe.
saying he didn't put himself in that position to begin with, but he worked himself out of it. And the ultimate reason why that run scored, the actual play, was again technically probably a wild pitch, but like, let's be real for a second. The pass ball in baseball is so fucking stupid. It should these scorers have to be a little more lenient towards the pitcher here.
Right.
Like
So even
a true pass ball is like the catcher sleeping, and he just doesn't move his glove. And
right, even
that's
though
it.
I DVR'd the game yesterday, but like I saw the run scored. I was, the kid's running around. What do you want me to do? And then I didn't hit rewind. I just saw it scored. And you know what? To be honest with you, I was just pissed that the fucking run scored. I didn't really care what the hell happened at that point
Yeah,
because
it was a
they're in a
wild
position.
pitch.
They're in a position to win a game in the 6th inning, and they didn't do it.
Yeah. And SGR just confirmed it was a wild pitch. Go back and watch it if you can. Find it somewhere. Higashioka, any major league caliber catcher has to make that play. I actually will go as far as to say I think Gary would have made the play.
Don't you dare talk about Kyle. Don't you dare talk about Kyle like that.
That's how easy it was. And now here's something I just want to say real
That's my
quick
hero.
about Higashioka, our starting
my
catcher,
hero.
our future all-star starting catcher, Kyle Higashioka. Everything was all cool when he was hitting Higgy bombs here and there, and really you loved him because he gave you what? He gave you that warm, cozy feeling inside because he was a good defensive catcher, right? He's looked like fucking trash back there this year so far. So what other than the couple home runs he hit the other night, if he didn't hit those, you could argue he shouldn't even be anywhere near this team anymore.
That's false. Only on the fact that of what he does for Garrett Cole.
Oh, true. True. Sorry, I hate that I have to admit that my ace only pitches well to this guy or pitches like an ace to this guy.
Well, that's
But
also
it's
not true.
I
It's
mean, it's
just
valuable.
the Yankees are feeding that narrative.
Understood, but that's why I changed my wording to Cole doesn't pitch bad to Sanchez per se, but he's not ace caliber like he is when.
But here's the let's get into that. Can we get to that when we talk about Garrett
Yeah,
Cole's start? Can we
sure.
table that for 1 second? Because as I was saying, two things can be true at the same time. I can be mad and pissed off and angry that this team is 5-7 right now because they shouldn't be 5-7. I don't care that they played the Jays and they played the Rays, and those are two good teams. They should be better than 5-7 right now. But I understand there's 150 games left. And somebody called me a pom-pom waiver today. Oh, here's my pom-poms. Why? Are you that stupid that you are we do we realize that there's 150 games left, or we still think there's 60?
Yeah, you can't. They just again until this team has an identity, and then they fall back on that identity, or by default you get to like Memorial Day weekend and they still don't know who the fuck they are. Those are the only times you're really freaking out. And so right now the Yankees are torn between are they going to be pitching dominant or are they going to be, a team that puts up 5 runs and the pitching just fucking blows it. They're in between those right now. They got to figure their shit out. They got to start making it click. They got to become the powerhouse we know they're going to be. And then we start to feel good. They start to build upon that. And then if they fall back from there, like yeah, they regressed this week because the pitching looked like shit outside of
Yeah.
Cole, but like they haven't put it all together yet anyway. So I'm not freaking out still. If they had put this shit together, if they were fucking 18-0 and they put their shit together, you knew how fucking great they were, and then all of a sudden they just sucked for the next 12 games, then you're like, well, who the fuck is this team? But right now they don't even know who the fuck they are. They need to figure it out. And when they do, they're going to be dominant.
The good news is the Nationals are 3-6. They're stumbling out of the gates. Max Scherzer, SGR.
Yeah, but Max
Might come
Scherzer,
true.
Max Scherzer, I have only seen his one shitty start. Has he like turned it around since then?
Couldn't care less. I just want to be able to say I called it.
That's true. It's one of those. You're one of those guys.
Yep. That's all I care about.
Everybody just take a deep breath right now. Just take a deep breath. It's going to be It's going to be fine. I truly believe it's going to be fine. I still think this team is going to win the World Series. That's where my pom-poms are coming out. But you got to understand the lengths of a baseball season. That the first 12 games, even if they were 0-12, then maybe I'd be worried right now. But 5-7, they haven't figured out they haven't hit their stride yet.
You know King Dakar? You know the roller coaster King Dakar?
I've heard of it.
It's like the fucking one of the biggest roller coasters in the northeast. Yeah, and it's just fucking. It just cranks up for like 20 fucking minutes.
Go crank.
And then within, it fucking cranks up.
He didn't say yank. He said crank.
I said crank. Go crank.
I gotta go.
It cranks. It cranks up for 25 minutes, and like long enough to take a fucking nap, and then in less than half a second, you're fucking dropping all the way down. That's a season as a Major League Baseball fan, like times 100. How many times are you going up and then dropping so low within 5 days of being at the height of everything? And that happens repeatedly. The sign of a good team is that you're cranking up way more than you're dropping down. And the drop is kind of disappointing. Like it's not that good of a fucking drop. It's a shitty roller coaster.
Right. I mean, if we're sitting here in July and the Yankees are hovering around 500 and they're 8 games out of the fucking postseason spot, we'll be the first ones to come on here and tell you, maybe we were wrong about this team. But after 12
Yeah.
games, I'm not there yet.
No,
I'll be the first one. You guys called it. You got it right.
got it
Yeah,
right.
everybody,
sorry.
you guys are all right. George is
You're
You're all
right.
right.
George
George
should
is
be alive.
George is coming back from the dead. He's resurrecting Billy
know-
Martin. He's gonna be the
He's gonna
manager.
fire him a couple times and hire him
You
again.
know, and that's the best way to enjoy a sport that we haven't had in 2 years in the month of April, to really, regardless of how they're performing, to just really be miserable.
That's really
See, that's
how
why
you want to do it.
that's why I'm not as upset by it. One, you've seen it before. They do this every single year, and it's the same group of guys, so you can kind of expect it at this point. And we haven't had true April baseball in forever. So yeah, I'll take 5-7. I'll take that. I would have taken 3-9. It sucks, but it's still better than not watching Yankee baseball.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, you're right, because I am frustrated. But you know what? I'm gonna be frustrated anyway. Even if this team started 12-0, I'm gonna feel this way at some point in this season anyway. So like, it's just kind of like, a higher being, whatever you fucking believe in, laughing at us saying, "Oh yeah, all rise all the time. You guys are gonna stay positive all season." Well, I'm gonna fucking start your season taking
Yeah.
a shit on you a little bit, and they're gonna
Look,
start 5-7.
if
And
that's how
that's
you find enjoyment, out of the game, then go for it. Keep being miserable. But I'm not gonna be that person. I'm
That's
gonna
what
be
I don't
optimistic.
understand. Yeah,
In the
last
month
year
of
was
April, I'm
last year.
optimistic.
There's some people that don't even think that last year counts. I'm in the impression that it does count, but it wasn't a full baseball season. We went through everything that we went through in the last year with COVID and everything. Now we had it taken away from us. Now we're back to having a full quote real baseball season, and you can't even you're not even getting your feet wet into the season, and this team sucks, they're done, I was right, Boone is a moron, I could run the team better than Cashman. Like, if George were alive, we had to make sure we get that one in.
Yeah.
it's so because it's so easy. We're
Right.
we're just when you're rooting for a team, especially in baseball, such a long season, it's full. If you're a true baseball fan, you got to be pretty fucking emotional during every single game. Like, you have to be that intense to be a true fan who watches every game. So, A, you have the hype up of the season that you haven't had in 2 years. And then B, the team's shitting the bed when they're expected to be the best in the AL, entirely.
But you waited so long, and now after 12
Yeah,
games,
but
you're just
that's
like,
easy to
I'm,
say.
I'm done.
No, I agree
Um,
with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's easier said than done. A lot of
And
people
all,
are amped up.
yeah, but all these fucks are gonna, as soon as the Yankees win 12 out of 14, which is gonna
It's
happen,
gonna happen, and
because
it's gonna
even the
happen soon.
Pirates will win 12 out of 14 games this year, because even bad teams get hot. Then it's gonna World Series back on. I never doubted this team.
Right.
You know,
Right. It's so
Yes.
easy to forget. It's so easy to forget the roller coaster of emotion that a full Major League Baseball season is as a fan.
now it's Cashman is dumb. I told you Kluber was finished. Even if he struggles
DJ
this year,
sucks.
even if he
Well,
even if Kluber struggles this year, he'll spin a gem. It'll just happen, because even five starters spin gems every once in a while. And that gem will come. Oh, Cashman is a genius. He took a chance on this guy. Look how good he is. Fuck
he's the
you.
man. Yeah,
Just
well,
go.
fair warning. I'm
No,
taking screenshots. I'm
no,
taking screenshots of these tweets.
fair weather is what it is.
No, I'm taking screenshots of these tweets that are
Are,
fans that have
are you gonna
abandoned.
so you're gonna pull receipts?
I got
Can I
receipts,
ask you guys a question?
and you could pull this audio of me if you're right.
Can I
in
ask
the
you guys
end.
a question?
I'm gonna
Give
be
me a
right.
percentage of the chances that the Kansas City Royals are a first place team in the AL Central.
12.
12% out of 100, correct? Give me a percentage of the chance that the Seattle Mariners are a first place team in the AL West.
0.
I'll give
Point
them
01.
1% chance A
1%.
1% chance.
Okay, so now we're being irrational, right? Over 12 games in a season that currently has the Kansas City Royals in first place and the Seattle Mariners in first place.
And the
Put
Mets
it,
too.
put it into context, people. Put it. I even left the Mets out of it because I think they're capable.
No, they can definitely win that division. I've said
Yes.
that before.
Yeah.
So, but realistically, put it into context, right? You're freaking out over a point in a season where the Royals and the Mariners are first place teams. And that tells you enough. That tells you enough. If the you know what? I'll look this up throughout the show. I want to know, even in 98, right? The greatest fucking team we'll ever see. Did the Yankees go through a 12-game stretch where they were 5-7?
I don't think so, to be honest with you.
Really? You could very well be right.
Did you hear about the Astros though? 3 prominent players are on the COVID list right now. They're out for 10 days. It's Altuve, Bregman, and I couldn't remember who the third guy was.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a conspiracy theory going here on this?
I don't know.
Something fishy going on over in Houston again? Because Dusty Baker's been running his fucking mouth, huh?
Yeah, he said some dumb shit. Like, you got to understand. First of all, Dusty, I respect him, but you
I
also
don't
got to
really
understand
respect him, to be honest.
why. You don't respect him as a baseball guy?
Well, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't he win? Was he with the Nationals when they won?
Was he the manager there?
I
don't
he-
remember.
I
No,
think
no,
he
no,
was-
no, no, no,
he
no,
wasn't.
no,
So,
no.
so he's never won.
Never won a playoff series.
Okay,
until,
so there you go. That's
Houston.
why I don't. That's why I don't respect him.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. He
He
never
won
won a
with
World
the
Series.
Astros.
No, Dusty Baker was he was didn't he get to the World Series with the Giants? Wasn't he the manager
I
of
know.
that
That's
team?
why I took that back. But he's never won a World Series.
When his kid almost got run over at home plate.
Right. And the other COVID guys on the Astros were Maldonado and Alvarez. That's a
No, what I'm saying, I
big
respect
names.
Dusty as a baseball guy. He's been around the game a long time. He's, I'm not saying I wouldn't want him to manage my team, but I'm saying just as a baseball guy, someone who's been around as long as he has been, I respect him. But you also got to understand why you're there. It's because you are. You remember the Hangover Part 2
Yes.
when
Unfortunately.
when they do the rehearsal dinner and Stu's wife, the father, calls him like this white rice. It's like just plain, boring, unoffensive. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Safe. That's what
Safe.
that's what Dusty Baker is. That's why he was put there to kind of hinch and all that bullshit. So we'll put Dusty in there because he's the whatever the term that they use for it. He's a safe bet. He's the unoffensive guy that we're gonna
And
put
he's
in
just
there.
and he's a baseball guy. I mean, he's been
And
around forever.
he's just been the opposite of that because I don't understand why these guys get booed. You got to put that behind you. And yeah, granted, I look, when the Astros come to Yankee Stadium, I'm not rushing out there to go to the game because I have no desire to boo the Astros. That's behind me. I'm
Yeah, that's
done.
past.
I'm done with it. I don't think that's why the Yankees didn't win in the 2 series they played. The Astros were just better. That's my opinion. But to sit there and act like these guys didn't do anything wrong and that the fans shouldn't have vitriol towards them, that's horseshit, and you know it. Like, just don't even comment on it.
Agreed.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. There was a stretch. September 2nd, 19.
I was gonna say if it was definitely in September.
Yeah. Okay. I guess this isn't fair, but they did have 2 other stretches where they went 6-6 over 12 games. I mean, virtually the same thing.
You're talking 98.
I'm talking 98. I guess this doesn't count because they had to have clinched by this point, obviously.
Still a stretch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 5-7. 5-7.
And
Still not fair.
How many games?
But in the middle of the season, they did go 6-6 a couple times. So again, virtually the same thing. Even the best teams in the world have these kind of stretches. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And I saw someone tweet too that like it is a little more frustrating, I guess, because it is against division rivals. But like just as bad as the Yankees are playing compared to what we expect of them, these guys are overperforming right now beating them. I mean, you can't sit here and say the Yankees have looked like shit, but then tell me that these other teams are so good now. Like, no, they beat a shitty team right now.
No, but Toronto is good.
They are good, but outside of Ryu, do they have a rotation to really carry them anywhere
No,
deep
but
into
that bullpen is probably better than we thought they were.
it is. It
Yeah,
is
I
good.
think so.
But again, I
For
mean,
now, at least.
we talked about what's the most important piece the Yankees have to put together, and that's solidifying a number 2 in the postseason. So we've seen a bullpen be dominant and not have that number 2, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, but don't take anything away from the Blue Jays. It sounds like that's what you were trying to
No,
do.
no, no. I'm not taking anything away. They're a very good team. They're a young team, and if the Yankees don't pick their shit up and put it together, that window is going to start to close a little faster than we thought. If the Blue Jays are going to go down this track of
The
being,
window's closed already.
yeah, it's fucking closed, slammed shut.
So Monday night was the only win of the series. That was Garrett Cole's game, and they looked like shit offensively. Higashioka hit 2 Higgy bombs. Hashtag Higgy bombs. That started here, by the way.
It did.
Just I don't want to have to point that out, but don't let other people
Yeah, sometimes your ego just needs to point it
don't
out.
let other people let you believe that just because they come up with some shit that they come up with everything.
Don't
Okay?
fucking let other people bully you.
Okay. So Higgy was the offense that night, and here's
Which is
where,
sad in itself, but keep
which
going.
is sad in itself. Okay, but here's where Garrett Cole earns his money. He didn't have shit on the mound on Monday.
Well, yeah, and I tweeted early on too that you could tell, and it looked like, and I think whoever was doing the game, I think it was Cone.
No, it was Kay and O'Neill
was-
were doing the game.
Okay, so it was O'Neill then. I think he said it looked like he was having trouble with his footing, and I tweeted it looked like something was going on with the mound in the first couple innings, but he
It was
fucking
literally a
settled.
minor league park.
Yeah, he fucking settled in,
Yep.
man. And what happened when he settled in? How many guys he get out in a row? 15?
15.
Like, fuck you. You're that good. Fuck you.
Right.
So
that's
good.
that's where a guy like Garrett Cole earns his money, because the start previous he had A+ stuff, dominated the Orioles. That, when you're as good as Garrett Cole and you have your A+ stuff, it's gonna be a walk in the park. But when you can go out there with not your best stuff, you probably say that might be one of the worst stuff wise games he'll have all year, and go out there and give up 1 run in 6 innings to a lineup that's good.
Yeah.
That's where an ace earns his money. And
Sure.
that's a difference between when Garrett Cole doesn't have his good stuff versus when everybody else on this staff doesn't have their good stuff. And this is what we said. It's Garrett Cole and 4 question marks. And since the beginning of the season, even past each of their respective first turns outside of Domingo Herman, outside of each of their first turns in a rotation, they've all reverted back to being a question mark. And the biggest concern for me now, I guess you could say, is now we've had 2 consecutive bad Corey Kluber starts.
Little concerning. I think just like you have to be rational when it comes to only 12 games in, you have to be just as rational when it comes to pitchers in after only a few starts. And for me, the biggest thing is that they're healthy. Like that, let's put it into somewhat of context here. I think our biggest reason for saying question marks isn't so much, and I'm not saying it's not completely not this, but it isn't so much that we fear they're not going to be able to have good stuff and go out there and pitch if they're healthy. I think our biggest question mark is like, are these guys healthy enough to go out there every 5th day, take the ball, and do their job? And I think after a few games in, if you want to be rational about it, they still feel good, right? They didn't, Tyone had his issues. Kluber now back-to-back starts, having some issues, but let them get there. Just like you got to let the team get there. You got to let these guys get there. Not everyone, just like you said, is anywhere near Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is on a fucking different planet. He's on the planet right next to the planet DeGrom is on. Okay? And that's very difficult to do.
No, I think those 2 guys are on the same planet. It's just that DeGrom's living in the penthouse while Cole's in the floor below him.
Do you think? Do you think Jacob DeGrom watches when Garrett Cole pitches for the Yankees and just fucking throws things at the TV when he wins?
Because at least his backup catcher hits two.
This is how you play when you aces on the mound.
At least he'll get home runs from his backup catcher. DeGrom can't even get that.
Oh my god!
Speaking of the Mets, did you hear this shit? They got rained out today because the weather was shitty around here today. Then they're flying to Denver to play the Rockies, where they might not play again until Sunday because it's expected to be in the 20s and snow in fucking Colorado the next couple of days.
It's just the black clouds following them around.
And apparently, there's another scandal coming out about them tomorrow.
Really?
That's what I saw on Twitter today. There's another Mets scandal coming out tomorrow.
Is it the Paul LaDuca scandal?
No,
Probably something with Van Wagner again. That freak.
Bro.
So we'll go back to yesterday's game with Corey Kluber, and here's what concerns you about Corey Kluber is that he, as of right now, it seems like he doesn't have something to get you out with.
Here's where it's not concerning for me. He did in the first game. So it's there. He's just not putting it all together right now. It's there. It's not like he just lost it. It didn't vanish.
But again, we want to try to stay positive. We want to do the all rise all the time thing. But again, is it still there? We don't know that. He hasn't pitched in 2 years.
No, I'm saying it was. I saw it with my eyes.
But I also just told you 10 minutes ago or whatever it was that even the worst pitchers in the fucking league will spin a gem every once in a while. So is that the peak of Corey Kluber this year?
I don't know because it's only 3 games. That's what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not going to sit here and say the world is ending for Corey Kluber after 3 games when he's already shown me he still has it.
You know what Kluber's got to do, guys? He's got to hop on a Zoom call with Andy Pettit, CC Sabathia, and get some of that mojo in there, that late career magic where you
is he there
dip.
now?
That his velocity looks like it did dip like a little bit. And
was he even hitting 90 yesterday?
Dude, he was hitting like 87 on some fastballs. But so what did CC do when he saw a dip in velocity? He had to really focus on pitching and locating, and that's
the finesse guy.
He dipped.
Kluber he packed fat lippies. That's my favorite part of the CC doc at the towards the end. He's in the clubhouse,
whole
packing
skull,
a dip,
whole fucking tin, whole tin he puts in his lip.
But that's what this guy has to do. He has to get his pitches down. He's a ground ball pitcher to begin with. His velocity's dying a little bit. He's got to work with the coaches, talk to some vets that used to play on the team, and figure this thing out. Because if he keeps leaving that ball up, he's gonna keep having these kinds of starts. It's going to happen. These are major league ball clubs.
Look, and again, I'm gonna be the first one to admit the story's not written on Corey Kluber for this year. It's not even close to being written about him. But so far of what we've seen from him, he's not answered the question. He just hasn't.
No, but that's my thing. Like after 3 starts, let's just assume he was dominant in all 3 starts.
You'd feel a lot better about it.
Of course, yes. I'd feel so much comfier inside, and I'd go out
like little comfort food.
I'd say, "Oh my god, I feel so much better because
Corey Comfort."
Well. But I'd still be fucking irrational if I went out there and was like, Corey Kluber's the best fucking pitcher. He pitched 3 fucking games, and he looks dominant. They're gonna win the World Series. That's the same thing. I'd fucking rip people for doing that. If I'm gonna rip people for being irrational, that the team is struggled.
We're not gonna call him the best pitcher in baseball. If he
no, but you just said it yourself. You just answered the question as to why everyone's freaking out, because it would make you feel better about it. Yes. And so when they play like shit, it makes you feel worse about it. And some people just don't know how to take that emotion and also think logically at the same time. It's very difficult for people. And that's where you get the irrational fan.
Yeah, right. But all I'm saying is that we knew Corey Kluber was going to be a huge question mark going into the season, and he's still a huge question mark 3 starts into the season.
Yes.
Not that he would have not to say that he would have fully answered it had he have thrown 3 really good games, but you'd feel a lot better about him trending in the right direction. The question mark
would start bending towards being an exclamation point.
Right. And now it's just
bending up to being a
now it's curving the wrong way.
Yeah, it's soft.
I heard you had that problem.
Wonderful chub.
Do I curve No, I don't curve. I'm not a curver. Not a curver.
Trouble. You got trouble with the curve.
I got trouble with the curve.
Very underrated baseball movie, by the way.
Never saw it.
Great movie. Great.
Never
movie.
saw it. I do want to see it though.
You don't like it, Ryan?
What's that one movie? Oh wait, what's that? The movie Curve. It's just called Curve. That should have been on our poll. That's a good baseball movie.
I never even heard of it.
It was always
Never
on
heard of
HBO like years ago.
You know, you really
a
fucked up.
international
The more I
curve.
think about the movie lineup, you really fucked up. How do you not have Fever Pitch on there?
Really?
Fever Pitch is a great movie, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a Yankee podcast, that thing's getting booted.
You're
before we
fucking
even get started.
fugazi, bro. You're the most
Right.
fugazi Yankee fan I've ever
Right.
seen in my life.
61 lost to Bull Durham. Okay.
No, right. Yeah, but I'm saying Fever Pitch is about. the
It doesn't
2004 World
matter,
Series.
bro. I could have put any fucking movie on the list and the Sandlot was gonna win.
You weren't beating SGR, guys.
Awful.
Just hand it.
Awful.
Just take it to the bank.
All right, so next, we'll go back a day. We'll talk about Jamison Tyone start, which Michael K. I don't know what he was watching, but he said that he thought that Tyone had good stuff in that game, and I'm like, what?
The fastball looked good early, but then you look at the pitches where he gave up big dingers, big hits. They were all just like meatballs, right?
Look,
down
I'll
the
give him this. I'll say this.
hangers.
Kay said that his fastball was up a tick, and it was. It looked like he had
Yes.
a little bit more life on the fastball, but his breaking stuff sucked. I'm sorry, it did.
Terrible.
You know why his fastball was up a tick? Because he was dropping his arm on every single time he threw it.
Those mechanics were bad.
He was every time that he was throwing that fastball, he was dropping his arm and slinging his arm around, which isn't good for a guy who's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. First
Here
of
comes
all.
three. Here comes three.
No. But
Did someone say Tommy John? Oh my
I'm
god!
just saying it's a little more difficult to recover after that. But anyway, so he's slinging his arm, he's dropping his arm. The ball, he's not keeping his wrist on top of the ball and having
Ryan,
control
can
of
you
it.
explain how you keep your wrist on top of the balls?
Yes.
Well, you
It's
got
always
first
got
you
to
got
be
to
on
cup.
top.
You got to cup. You got to cup the ball.
You got to cup
And
the
then-
ball.
See, that's what people think it's on top, but it's actually you got to cup it.
He's not keeping his wrist on top of the fastball. It's sliding out of his hand, and that's why everything's staying up. And that's when he got beat every single time.
No, he
He-
got beat.
Up.
Unless I was watching a different game, it looked like he got beat because his breaking stuff had no life. It was just rolling in the zone.
Yeah, but why? Why was he rolling things into the zone? Where was
I'm
his
not s-
fastball?
Where was his fastball?
Go back and watch the game a little closer. He was leaving everything up. Everything.
But I don't think the fastball was the problem.
No, when you can't throw your fastball for a strike and you're throwing it as hard as he was, that really is a problem because you're never in a pitcher's count. So now it goes back to the problem with not keeping your wrist on top. If you're flattening your wrist and letting the ball come out that way, you're not going to have
Well,
any spin on it.
Why would the Yankees ever hire a pitching coach when they have you around?
No, I'm sure Matt Blake said the same thing.
No, but listen, he had. Look. You could say what you want to say. You know better than me because you pitched. But when I watched that game, I wasn't saying he's getting beat on his fastball. He got beat because his breaking stuff was just. To me, his breaking stuff was just terrible.
Okay. Maybe I'll
Not saying. I'm
maybe
not
I'll
saying,
just
you're misunderstanding me. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
maybe
I'm not
I'll,
saying his fastball didn't work. I'm saying because of that with the wrist, with the cupping of the
And the
wrist.
balls.
No,
And his
you're
balls.
not getting my point. I'll say it again.
what
That's
I
your, that's your best impression yet. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. What I should have said was he was getting beat every time when he would go into counts and not be able to throw that fastball for a strike. It was putting him behind. He didn't have any life on the off speed, like you were saying. And the second the batter saw it, they knew it was coming right over the plate. They knew it wasn't
like
going
a
to drop
fucking
off.
lollipop rolling in
Yeah,
there.
they knew it wasn't going to drop off because he didn't have any stuff. So at the very least, if he was spotting his fastball and effective with it, he could have worked around that and thrown those off speed pitches in the dirt or something just to change up the view of the batter. But instead, now he has to throw those for a fucking strike and they're not moving. So they're coming right down the plate and the batter's picked up on it.
So then it sounds like then his next start is going to be very important because he can. It sounds like those are adjustments that can be made, and if he could make them, then
That's a
could be
good
on the right
point that
track.
I wanted to get to also when we talked about the Kluber shit and why we shouldn't freak out. These are adjustments. Like what you're seeing are adjustments based off of the we've seen glimpses of how good they still can be. These are adjustments. They're minor adjustments. We're talking about guys who haven't pitched in 2 years and who are mainly focused on building stamina at this point. And so these are minor adjustments that you're making in between trying to build yourself back up to be a major league pitcher again. And we got to just be patient.
Right, and which is he said it was the second inning that he had that long second inning, and he said that his legs were going on him.
Who said that? Tyone?
Jameson Tyone, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that says it all. When you're a pitcher, man, if your legs are fucking going, you're done. It's all in the legs. Everything is about your legs when you're pitching. Everything.
But you know what? He got his pitch count up a little bit, which was good because he's got to build some stamina up. So even if he didn't have the greatest second start, he did get his pitch count up a little bit. He did that requisite jump where you go like 10 or 15 pitches each start. So hopefully he'll be able to go right around 100 in his next start and he can continue to build. Again, this is what the problem was, is that we couldn't have two reclamation projects in this rotation in a year that we're expecting to win a World Series. And we still have two reclamation projects in the rotation. There's no other way to say it. We're not going to have answers on that till August, September, October, if God willing. We're hoping that it clears up by then. But early on, we're working through the questions that we had in the off season. That's why we always said we would have liked one. You want to do Tyone or Kluber, but why? Again, I'm not saying that both of these guys are going to be trashed all year, that these are both going to be failures. I have more confidence, honestly, in Tyone being better than Kluber. That's just how I feel right now, even though I think I said something different in the offseason when we said who was going to step up behind Cole. As of right now, because I've got to watch them a little bit, I have a little bit more faith in Tyone just because I think he's younger and his stuff looks better. But we're not going to get answers on these guys for months now. And right now, that's hurting the Yankees. These guys are not going deep into games. You don't want to burn the bullpen 15, 20 games in the season, which is what they're doing. They're in the bullpen every game. If Garrett Cole doesn't pitch, they announce from their bullpen.
Say that again, that last sentence, because you froze.
I said, if Garrett Cole is not pitching, what are they getting? 15 to 18 outs from the bullpen every game?
Yeah, I mean, that's if you want to be one of these crazy people that are freaking the fuck out and saying the season's over, and you want to like maybe take that irrational emotion and put it towards something productive, freak out about stuff like that. Like, that's something that we can sit here and say, yeah, you should be panicking. That can't keep happening. We can't put this many innings on our bullpen this early on and get into this trend. That can't happen. No, we've seen the Yankees get killed on that, right? We've seen the Yankees have some elite guys out of the bullpen, and by the time October rolls around, they can't even fucking lift their arm anymore.
Look what happened. Look, Adam Ottavino is the prime example of what happened to a guy that got overused.
Absolutely.
Boone wore him the fuck out in 2019.
Mixed in with a little mental breakdown. And
did he have a mental breakdown?
Well, I mean, he was
nervous breakdown.
Boone was going to Jonathan Loizaga in a big playoff spot before he would even say that Adam Ottavino existed.
Right. So, it was like
yeah.
The little kid from Wedding Singer would come out into the bullpen and look at Adam Ottavino and go, nervous breakdown.
What was that in?
The Wedding Singer.
Oh, yeah.
Linda, you a bitch.
I love that movie.
Yeah, but we don't need a fourth Drew Barrymore in Adam Sandler movie, which they were talking about doing.
Well, 51st Dates is the best one by far.
It's not even. You're dumber than 10 Second Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom. No, what was the last one? It was pretty good though.
Blended. I don't
Blended
remember.
Was okay.
I like Blended.
Yeah, Blended was pretty good.
It was okay.
I like them together.
So, so outside of Cole, it's like the pitching is very frustrating right now. The bullpen is, I mean, Green gave up a home run and the walk-off home run, but overall the bullpen's been pitching really well, which is like it's like what is going to click offensively. Something needs to click offensively.
Well, it starts with one guy.
And who's
Starts
that?
with one guy, and that's DJ LeMayu. When DJ LeMayu's not clicking, your whole offense is thrown out of whack.
Right. And you like to think that yesterday was a jumping off point for Aaron Judge with the 2
Yes.
home runs.
Yeah, you
And
hope
I think
you hope he rides
and I,
that.
and I think that he hit another ball hard later at a different
Hard.
point in the game.
Hard.
So it looks like he might be coming around because you need that. Offensively, if you look at this lineup right now, there's nobody that you would say is meeting or exceeding expectations. Maybe there's a couple of guys that are like, you're like, I'm okay with how they're playing. Like Urshela, I'm okay with how he's playing. Judge, I'm okay with how he's playing. But there's nobody that you're sitting there saying, oh, I'm really happy with how he's playing. LeMayu has been a disappointment through 12 games. It has nothing to do with the contract that he signed or anything else. The guy's in a slump, and the fucked up part is that we've never seen him slump in 2 years here.
Yeah, I
So
mean, that's
people
what it
we don't
is.
know how to react to it.
That's what it is. I mean, I said to you the other day, I said he fucking sucks right now. And then you made your stupid fucking joke that I was one of the people writing him off, and I said no, it's actually a compliment. Like, this is the guy's 3rd season here now, and I've never seen him slump. So, you know, take it as a good thing. I mean, that's how good this guy is. That's what kind of talent he has.
The Yankees are leading Major League Baseball in double plays. So they brought this up. Where's the launch angle? Give me launch angle.
Yeah, give me exit velo.
Which Stan, I think he had a 120-mile-an-hour single the other day.
Dude, they showed a graphic. I don't know if you caught it, of guys who have hit the ball 190 miles per hour or something or more in the last like 3 years or some shit. Maybe it was since like 2015. I don't know.
It's basically all him.
It's all Yankees. First of all, it's like him,
Judge,
Gary, and then the biggest discrepancy is that he had 19 of them, and then Judge or Sanchez, whoever was second, had 5. I mean, that's how hard this guy fucking hits the ball. You know what? Call Stanton whatever you want to call him. I know he's not really, if you look at his batting average, it's a pile of shit. But he's been coming up in some big spots. Like Stan has a decent amount of RBIs. He's been coming up in some big spots and producing runs.
He has a decent amount of RBIs because no one else on this team is.
Yeah, I guess.
So Aaron Boone in the post game yesterday had a very interesting way to describe his team when they score runs. In case you missed that, we have a little bit of audio that I want to play. Right?
Is this is the first presser? This isn't. You're talking about Boone's presser, right? Not his interview.
Yes, the press conference from the first audio that I sent you today.
For on the road trip, what can you do to try to get this team back on track?
Well, we got to play better, obviously, in every area. There's some mistakes we're making. Obviously the pen has done a really nice job for us. When you're not banging, you got to do little things really well, and that's catch the ball, run the bases. We know eventually we are gonna start banging. I have a ton of confidence in our guys and can't wait to see them turn the corner. But in the meantime, especially when you're in these dog fights where you're not breaking games open, you got to play real clean.
Ryan, so this is for you. You're gonna start banging, bro. So you don't have to take off short.
Boone hasn't gotten any in a while. He's like, you start banging, you stop banging. That's definitely that's going to be
Tyler
a drop.
Wade, like me.
Maybe
that's going to be a drop.
Maybe it's because of the heart.
Actually, good point. Good point. But it's obviously on his mind.
Look, he just comes up with the weird. I like Boone, but he just comes up with the weirdest shit.
But that's definitely going to be a drop, by the way. We're going to start banging.
Nice.
That's something that you should work on.
It's done already.
Okay. So here, at the beginning of that little clip there, it brought me back to the middle game of the series because the Yankees were down 6-3. They had the tying runs on base. Hicks was up, and the ball got away from the catcher. Gary gets picked off and kills the rally. Right now, when you go back and you look at the replay, which they didn't show until after the game was over, where Gary got tripped up was number one, if Gary just runs to second base, he's safe. Where he got caught because he went back. If he goes, he's safe. They're not going to get him. Number two, and here's maybe the bigger part of it, is everybody wants to say Gary's stupid, Gary's an idiot, he doesn't speak English, so he doesn't have the fundamental understanding of baseball.
I think it's only one person saying that.
So yeah, go back to last episode for context on that. That's not us being any sort of racism or anything like that. But if you watch Stanton, he stops.
Yeah.
So naturally, Gary stops too. You're not gonna, he's thinking that Stan stops, so he's got to hold up because he doesn't want to go to second base if Stan's not going to third base. So naturally, everybody's ripping Gary, and you know what? I got to stick up for Gary there because what do you as a base runner? You're the trail runner, right? You're on a situation like that. You're supposed to watch the lead runner. He stops.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
Well, I'll say this: he's also got to see where the ball is, and he's got to see that no one's on second. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. You're 100% right. Stanton doing that is what made him think to stop. But he's also got to see that there's no one on second base, and he's got to understand that the play is all centered around him at that point.
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't speak English and doesn't understand baseball.
Yeah. What was the douchebag's name?
Phil Mushnick.
Yeah, douche.
But that's where the play broke down is when Stanton stops.
Yes. No, yeah. 100%.
So after the game, Yankee Twitter, we got to have her pound the flesh, and they didn't get it. So now they're mad. Boone sucks. He coddles them. He gives them lollipops after the game. They get their lollipops, orange slices, and juice boxes. And if they request a hug, then he'll fill out the COVID protocols, and he'll be able to give them hugs as well. But here's my point. In the post game, Boone called out the mistake, said they got to be better. What is he going to do? I feel like I've said this before. What else do you want him to say at that point? What else do you want the manager to say? Do you want him to come out and say, Gary's a fucking idiot because he didn't get to second base? What if he calls out the mistake, says we got to be better in a situation like that? What else do you want him to say?
Yeah, and the other thing you got to realize too is this guy excuse me. COVID's coming back for me. This guy's going from in game, just loses a fucking heartbreaker, and then going right to do a stupid fucking Zoom press conference or whatever the hell they're doing now. Right? He's not sitting down and actually analyzing that play. Maybe he heard from one of his coaches like what happened, but he hasn't had a chance to sit down and really analyze it and go through like how he's going to go about, fixing the issue and that it doesn't happen again. He doesn't have all that there. Like all he can say is he can only speak surface level at that point. And that's still not good enough. You should want this guy to have the team's back.
But that's what I don't understand is like, do you really want Aaron Boone to sit there and light into guys in the press to the press?
Yeah, that's not where a manager shows his true colors necessarily. Like, we don't know this, and you can make your assumptions all you want, and I'll even sit here and say it's probably not likely, but we don't know that Boone doesn't fucking go back into the clubhouse and start fucking ripping guys and start saying you need to get your fucking head out of your ass and start playing baseball. You don't know. We don't know. That's not the time to do that is not when he's talking to the stupid fucking media.
So, right, because this team is playing poorly, and now on top of it, you want to add toxicity of the manager ripping his players in the press.
Right. And then everyone's like, oh, we're so soft in this generation. Yeah, we are. Trust me. I get it. I agree with you. And I think certain situations do call for that, where you say, come on, stop being so fucking soft on this guy. But not when the context is off when you're talking about a manager talking to the media. If you had like a hidden camera in the clubhouse and Boone's like, Gary, don't worry about it. You're going to get better. We love you here. Just keep a smile on. And then that audio like leaked or the video leaked, then you'd be like fucking Boone babying these guys. Yes, but we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't. That's not the time or place to fucking do it when A, you haven't even talked to your players yet, and B, you haven't even seen the play yourself in on a replay or anything.
It's very
So, come
likely
on.
he may not have seen it, but hey, you know what? As long as he doesn't in the media say, well, it happens, whatever. He didn't. You could tell that he was upset that it happened. It killed the fucking rally right there. The game was over. I mean, 6-0. You're not expecting the Yankees to get back in it. They were one swing away, and then, a base running error, cost them any real shot of being competitive for the rest of the game. I mean, it is what it is at that point. Like, just call out the mistake. He called out the mistake. We got to be better. And I know people like to joke about we're going to turn the corner. That's in the Boone handbook. It doesn't bother me anymore. It's just something that he says. I mean, you want to make fun of it, make fun of it. But to me, it's just like, it's low hanging fruit. And I feel like the guy is just like on autopilot sometimes. And he's just got his Rolodex of shit that he says. Although he throws in something like, we got to start banging.
Yeah, I think Boone is going to give you the same thing every time he goes out when when the team's struggling. Like, he gives you the same things over and over. And just expect it.
And this is what I keep telling people. Your problem is not with Aaron Boone. Your problem is with Brian Cashman and the Yankee hierarchy. This is what they want in the manager. They want a guy that's going to convey confidence and not walk around a Zoom meeting with a tight butthole like Joe Girardi. Which, did you see what Joe Girardi did yesterday?
No, but I can only imagine what the story's going to be after he said tight butthole.
Yo, you know how a lot of Yankee fans are still stuck in 2017. They think Didi Gregorius is better than Derek Jeter.
I saw your tweet, yeah.
And then Ronald Torreyes is like a superhero. He's like Mighty Mouse.
Awesome. Love him.
So what do you think that Yankee fans that are stuck in 2017 were thinking when Joe Girardi, their hero manager, pinch hit their hero Ronald Torreyes for their superhero Didi Gregorius?
Yeah, that was tough. That was nostalgic. They sat down and they actually opened their journal and started writing about what a bad day they had when they were reminded of Joe Girardi and his brilliance and the incompetent manager we have here that's won 100 games his first 2 seasons, full seasons as a manager. And it is his fault, definitely, that his team just can't fucking put it together in the postseason. It's definitely his fault that his players forget how to hit in the postseason.
Well, I'm glad that you said that they forgot how to hit, because somebody that's forgotten how to hit is Clint Frazier. Broken 0 for 17 earlier this week, seemingly got benched. So there's 2 narratives that the Yankees were trying to push to you at the beginning of the season, that Kyle Higashioka is not Garrett Cole's personal catcher. That was a fucking lie.
No, they're still going with that one.
That he's not the catcher?
Yeah.
No, they're still going with it, but they've proven to you that it's a lie.
Right.
And number 2, that Clint Frazier is the starting left fielder. Now, this audio is courtesy of Boomer and Carton and Roberts earlier today. And listen to how Aaron Boone now describes Clint Frazier.
Is Clint Frazier still the everyday left fielder?
Clint Frazier is still going to play.
I'm going to stop it real quick. I just want to point out, after the question's asked,
he laughs.
You get to chuckle. You get to. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Is Clint Frazier still the everyday left fielder?
Clint Frazier is still going to play a ton for us. He is pretty much the everyday left fielder. We happen to have a 4th outfielder in Brett Gardner that's going to play a lot for us. So, obviously people have been asking me a lot about Frazier lately. The reality is he started 9 of 12 games. I sat him 2 days in a row, where I felt like he was scuffling a little bit, and Gardy was on a good little run. So, I guess I understand the questions, but let's ask the question a month, 6 weeks from now, and see what the body of work looks like, and see what the regularity looks like.
It's all about timing, because you're right. He started the first 9 games, but he's also sat 3 of the last 5 games. So that's where the question comes from.
I think the Frazier thing came up even more because he finally got the hit And the thought amongst some fans was, hey, he broke the whatever it was, 0 for 17. He gets the hit. Maybe try to capitalize on that because he got off the schneid. I think that's why people are asking.
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a, I sat him back-to-back days in Tampa, and that was more of a, wanted to give him a day, one, and then, like the matchup with Guardy a couple days in a row in there, getting him in a couple days in a row. So not much more than that.
Do we have
Fraze is going to play a ton.
All
He's
right.
going to get to raking, and he's going to be a big part of this.
Frage,
Listen to what he said.
Frage, yeah, he's pretty much he's pretty much gonna play like
pretty much
some of the time, but mostly all the time. And like then pretty much Frage can be called our everyday left fielder.
So in 12 games, it went from yes, he's our starting left fielder to pretty much he's our left fielder.
Pretty much. Frage.
I mean, if you took the over under on when they were going to, I don't want to say demote, but take that job away from Frazier,
Man, that was quick.
That was fucking quick. I would probably have said it at like 65 games that they were going to take it away from him. 12 games. Actually, it was even before that. It was 9 games because then he got benched, or 8 games or whatever it was. Because didn't we talk about this? We just talked about this in last episode. So
yeah.
it was 9 games. It's probably 7 games. 7 games.
7 games.
7 games.
I mean, here's what you got to do, I guess, as a Yankee fan at this point. You got to just read between the lines. Like, here's what it is. Like, when the Yankees are trying to hide something from you, they still try really hard to do so. And like sometimes you can call bullshit on it, whatever. He didn't even try.
No, he didn't. He didn't give a fuck.
He didn't even try there. And it's like, it seems like Clint Frazier seems to be the one guy they just don't seem to try for. Like they just call it for what it is.
We talked about this in the last episode. What is it about Clint Frazier? Why is he the guy that pays every time?
Maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know some deep dark secrets of Frazier.
Then honestly, then trade him. Trade him for something that you can use. Honestly,
could use a lot of things.
All right, so don't tell me that the price tag wasn't right on Clint Frazier when after 12 games into the season, your manager is now on WFAN saying he's pretty much my left fielder.
Well, we know that there's certain guys that Cashman contradicts himself, and you can clearly see it's just his ego getting in the way, right? Like they treat Clint Frazier probably worse than they treat the fucking rag of pine tar that they throw on the fucking ground every time they use it on their bat, right? But then at the same time,
but then they put like a Mike Trout price tag on him.
Exactly. So it's like, well, I'm not going to give him up for that because he was like my big guy in that deal with Andrew Miller, and I need more for him. But also, we don't let him on the team fucking bus or plane. We make him fucking walk to wherever we play because he's a piece of shit.
No, we strap him to the rack. Fucking Clint, man.
No, Frazier.
Oh, Frazier. It's not Frazier.
It's Frazier.
I
thought he was going to say he's going to start banging. I was when I heard that today, I was like, Jesus, man, like I can't believe it went that sideways. It went sideways already like that. Like, come on. Yeah, that's again, they just weren't even trying to hide it.
All right, so we'll do a couple other things here to wrap up the show. So I'm currently running a poll that's going to end tomorrow at some point. And I asked this question: are the Yankees going to make the postseason this year? It's not a poll on how far they'll go, just whether or not you think they'll be in the postseason. And currently, 78% of people have voted that the Yankees are going to the postseason.
Okay, so
78.
So, we say the rational fans versus irrational. I think this poll is a pretty good indicator of 78% of fans are your rational, yeah, they're struggling, but they're going to make the postseason. This team's too good not to, versus, your 22% that are, fucking out of their minds. We'll even go down to like 18%. We figure maybe a few percentage points are Red Sox fans and whatnot. So we'll be fair.
Right. I still think 22% is really high, in my opinion. After 12 games, that you're like, oh, the Yankees aren't going to make the playoffs.
Oh,
That's
it's
kind of
high.
high.
It's high, but hey, like I said, this is a different year for everyone. Extra hyped. Extra hyped equals extra let down after your team goes 5-7 in the first 12.
So I wanted. I said if you are going to vote no, I want to hear your reason why. Put your name to it. Don't just be an anonymous asshole. So Eric Pepper Potts writes in, mainly because the savageness in the box is gone. Team is held together by Aaron Judge, Garrett Cole, and Plaster. They need to change, including Glaber's confidence. So that's why they're not making the postseason. They're not savages in the box anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
listen,
they're
after
not.
12 games, I don't see why you wouldn't sit here and think that the season's over. I mean, there's 162 games, but after 12, I think that is the marker where you can rationally sit here and say that the savageness is gone.
So Red Leaf 1221 says they look like the same team at the end of last year. Sloppy defense, bad base running, lack of consistent offense, and mental errors.
Mm.
Hmm. So those are the only two people that wanted to put their name to it. So I give them a little bit of respect, a little
I give
bit,
him respect.
a little bit. All right, so we did ask an actual question today, and the question is: are you upset that it is official that J Lo and A Rod are broken up?
So
I
let's
can't
just
sleep.
let's just figure this out for a second. They went from the rumor broke, instead of just admitting it at the time, they pulled a no, this is bullshit, don't believe what you hear, to then a few weeks later admitting it.
Because I tweeted a picture. I don't. You probably seen the tweet.
Yeah,
I
you had it
tweeted.
pinned.
Yeah, and I retweeted it today because now it's topical again. Of when A Rod was with the Yankees and he took a picture with J Lo and Mark Anthony, and then when J Lo and A Rod were together and they took a picture of together with Aaron Judge, and I put the picture side by side with the thinking emoji.
Yeah, yeah. Who was it with?
What?
Who was the picture
Aaron
with?
Judge,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that was on 3/12, so it was about a month ago that the rumor came out that they had broken up, and they're like, no, we're just working through some stuff, and then I guess they figured that it was okay to announce it now, like it's official,
They got their story straight.
and A Rod's buying the Minnesota Timberwolves, so good for him.
Good for him.
Even though one of their star players had no idea who the hell he was.
He didn't know
You
who
gotta.
A Rod was? Was he live under a fucking rock?
He's also like 19, so.
Oh, loser.
Anyway, so the actual question was: are you worried about the team's 5-7 start? Is this a blip on the radar? Are you concerned that the Yankees won't be playing October baseball? Congratulations to her buddy at stadium status. Moving up in the world, and it's all because of us.
Absolutely.
You know, you know, break your wrist patting yourself on the back, but congratulations to him and Gloria on the purchase of their new dwelling. So best of luck to you and the family.
And we
But
expect to be there for the housewarming.
yeah, absolutely. We're gonna break some champagne bottles in that house. No, not pop them, break them. Like I'm smashing fucking champagne bottles on the wall of that house.
I'm fucking Tommy Kaneling it.
So he go.
I'm getting the fucking slip and slide going.
Oh, nice.
Red Bull slip and slides.
So Ryan says definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over, expecting different results. Plugging in starters and hoping for the best results can only take us so far. It's early in the season. It's so early to have pitching depth issues. This is not good.
Yeah, buddy. Listen, I love you, man, but I gotta stay consistent here, even though I love you. It's just irrational. It's irrational emotion. It's not a bad thing. I get it. You're a passionate fan, but it's irrational.
All right, so
You're not going to be saying that possibly in a few weeks.
Time is Vilmatic He goes on to say, it's a blip on the radar. If the team goes 15-5, nobody in the next 20 games, nobody remember this. It's very frustrating because we all know what this team is capable of. We know the offense will be there in the end, but the defense needs to play better. Pitching and defense are what takes teams from good to elite. The offense come around, and I believe our pitching will have what it takes. Will the defense come through? I hope so. Seems like a lot of people are really concerned with this team's defense.
I think it's a mixture of just kind of, knocking the rust off out there, shaking it off, and getting back to the swing of things. I think it's a big part of it is that you have a shortstop who's not fully confident in being there. You have a first baseman who doesn't play first base. When Jay Bruce is out there, you have a guy in Gio who's starting to come around now, but in the first week or so, he did look a little off, and it just kind of adds up. So, one guy you can be a little happier about is Sanchez. I think Sanchez has looked much better behind the plate, but the second he fucks up, it's the end of the world again.
All right, so we'll move on to our buddy Chris Colon here. Not really worried, just think the desperation is setting in quickly from not winning a World Series in over a decade. Slow starts in April don't equal lost season. The Nats won the World Series in 2019, and they started 19-31. We're going to be fine.
Yep.
That's it. That's your comment.
Yeah, I can't even. My brain's fried.
It's 12 games. If this was a football team, if this was the NFL, I'd be panicking right now. I'd be freaking out. I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, if your
this
team was
is a Major League
5-7
Baseball team. Yeah, if that was a football season, yes, panic. But there's 150 games left. They have 150 games. If this is the case in June, then I'm hopping on that bandwagon of just ripping this team apart. I'll gladly join you. But we're 12 games into this season, so I'm not even going to listen to any fans who are saying that they're frustrated or that they think this season's a failure or whatever they're saying. It's not worth my time.
All right, so how about this from Beth Wellington? Not worried. They are usually bad in April. They'll turn it around. We need to get ourselves out of the 60-game mindset and back into the 162 mindset.
I think that's fair. I think that was a tough adjustment last year where everything was a little heightened. I think that's fair.
I mean, it sucks that they're starting this way because you just want 1 year where they could just run out of the gates, and they didn't do it again.
That's what it is, right? Because we talked about just wanting to have that feeling right out of the
beginning
gate
to end, but that's
of
not
just a dominant
plausible.
team, and right away we didn't even get maybe a 5-game winning streak. Right away it was just fuck.
Yeah, it's definitely annoying, but whatever.
All right, let's read two more to wrap this up here because I want to give Don Sicario a shout out, not only for his Open, being part of the Open, but he also has found a new home. Best of luck to him and his family as well. So, you listen to the NYYST podcast, you buy a new house.
Absolutely. That's how good we are.
So let's read what he had to say. Where is it here? The fuck is it? My issue is that this all feels too familiar. Starting pitching being an issue, taxing the pen. Our window with this core is closing. Why not secure a run with legit starters when they're available? Who's confident in Cashman now? Also, the Yankees approach and runners in scoring position. How do you fix it?
You fix it by first giving them a chance. Right? Giving them a chance to fucking wake up.
What starter, and I don't want to sound like I'm attacking a fan or anything like that, but what starters, and I might just be drawing a blank, were good that were available in the offseason at a reasonable price, because you're not giving Bauer $45 million when you're paying
you want to say a guy, I think a lot of fans are hung up on Yu Darvish. He got traded for a reasonable package.
Okay.
It would have been that the Yankees would have had to pick up the money on the contract. I think it's something like that. And again, I'm not the biggest Yu Darvish fan, but I think if we stuck him in the rotation and not have, he's much more of a given than the two guys that the Yankees brought in. You have to say that. That would make you feel a lot better.
Again,
that would make you feel
talking about feelings, though. Yeah, it would make me feel better right now. But like, how do I know how I'm going to feel in a month from now? What if you Darvish ends up having a decent year and Kluber and fucking Tyone end up being dominant forces? I mean, we're talking about feelings right now.
Yeah,
We're
but
not
this is
talking about facts. The only time we could talk about facts is when we reflect on the season. We don't know if these are bad moves.
Dwight, you ignorant slut. You have to understand that this is how we felt since the season ended last year, that we've been saying the Yankees cannot rely on injury-riddled pitchers. These are not the guys the Yankees can bring in.
I agree.
And that has not
I
changed.
understand. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying
Well,
is,
wouldn't you
sound like
Darvish almost
whiny-
fall into that category after if you take away his performance last year, maybe a little bit of the year before that, he was kind of dealing with a few injuries too, so he would have fallen right under that category. Just because
True.
his last year was good, which it was really good, but
Yeah,
it was
but I
also
think
a shortened
the
season.
extremes of the guys the Yankees brought in, that neither one
I
of them
agree.
pitched in 2 years.
I completely
Oh.
agree. Darvish would have been a better option. However, Darvish is making 25 million, I think, or in the mid 20s, whereas Kluber and Tyone combined are making 13. And we see that this team is just cheap now. So they're cheap in Yankee fan standards.
all
but
I'm
they just
saying
don't
is,
spend their money wisely, I guess.
if you're taking, man, I can't stop coughing. If you're taking the angle of we didn't want to go into the season with more question marks and injury riddled pitchers, and just on that premise alone, not talking about results of anything, then yes, that's a very valid point. But you can't sit here and make the point that Cashman sucks. How do you like him now? We should have gone out and done this and that, because we don't know that to be true. We don't know that these pitchers aren't going to be the better way to go at the end of the day. So it's just as unfair as it is to say this was a great move, he didn't waste the money and he got these 2 guys. It's just as unfair to say these guys are going to suck and this was stupid.
What?
Fuck you.
No. Fuck you. All right, this is the last one, and we got to read a really negative one. This is from Marvin Dorfler. And Chris, I want you to pay attention to this one because I want you to react to it. All right?
I'm listening all ears.
All right. This is a trend, not a blip on the radar. What Yankee is going to get hot and carry the team? Luke Voigt is only player on the DL right now. Cashman's decisions to value power over athletic fielders has caught up to him. What will happen if Chapman heads to the injured list for 30 days? Then he goes on to say, too many people are expecting a 20-win July, but there's no more cupcakes in the Eastern Division. I see a 500 team for the Yankees.
Remember when we talked about shrooms in the beginning of the episode? Marvin Gaye, or whatever his name is, definitely took shrooms before he left that comment. What the fuck are you even saying? What are you even saying? I'm so sick of the power versus regular hitter argument. This team, now, here's what you can say. You can sit back and analyze a team and say, oh, they won 100 games, blah, blah. It didn't matter because they didn't win the World Series. 100% correct. Agree with you 100%. But when you're going to sit here and say a team sucks because they're built on power, I am going to take that in a different context now and say this team has won 100-plus games 2 years in a row in 2018 and 2019. 2020 obviously doesn't count. So it works. It works. This team is good. This team can be built this way. And then everyone says this, but it doesn't work in the postseason because you're facing better pitching. Fuck you. Yes, it does. Oh, just magically Stanton was able to hit 6 home runs in the postseason last year and no one else was? I mean, it does work. It's a mentality. When you go into the postseason with this mentality and you're playing scared and shitty, your team's not going to hit. You're not going to produce the same way. Tell me why Stanton did it last year, but no one else could, or why Judge has had a bunch of home runs in the postseason, but no one else does, and no one else comes through in the big spot. Tell me why. Tell me why that happens. And then I'll give you that argument that it doesn't work.
But who's going to get hot and carry the team, Chris?
Well, Luke Voigt's not here. So maybe that's your answer, pal.
and here's what I want to, well, just real quick because we're running long and I want to get out of here. I want to bring this up because a lot of people have made this point, and I don't think it's true at all. Even though I like Luke Voigt and I think he is a good presence in that lineup, the Yankees are flat because Luke Voigt's on the team right now.
Maybe, maybe that's true. Maybe he took over such a leadership role last year that maybe it's true. Maybe they're really missing his presence.
No,
But
I'll tell you this
it's
right
just
now.
not likely. But maybe it's true.
If the Yankees are struggling because Luke Voigt's not in
Struggling.
the lineup, then they're not the team we thought they were.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I agree.
Ryan, do you care to add anything, or do you just want us to wrap up so you
Ah,
can
man.
go Yank?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I know
Yep.
there was a lot of talk about wrists and balls and banging today, so I
Yeah,
can
man.
understand
banging
how you.
from Boone.
That's all I want right now is to go and yank.
I can
Banging from
understand.
Booner
You
Boons.
definitely understand
wanna
how
go yank.
you're
Just
how
wanna
you're
go yank.
okay.
Just wanna go yank.
All right, so we got a big series coming up here, and it's fucking crucial. The Yankees, they look, man, they have to start stacking series wins together. I don't even care if they go on a long winning streak. Start stacking series wins together. That's how you're gonna get to where you need to be. They've played 4 series this year. They won 1 of them. That's unacceptable. There's no other way to put it. Cut the audio, fucking put it on a billboard. Christian says it's unacceptable how the Yankees have played through 12 games of the season. I'm not. It's just it sucks. It's unacceptable. That's it.
I think that was what was really, I mean, the killer last night when they lost. Was like at least you could have walked away from this and said, it wasn't pretty, but at least you took the series and you keep building off of that. And
Right, because look at how now you're looking at it. People always want to overreact to short sample size, but look how you look at it if they had won the finale in Toronto. They won a series. They won 3 of their last 4. Now the narrative is the Yankees are winning a little
Right.
bit now. But
Right.
now they lost another fucking series. They back down to losing 2 in a row. And Tampa's coming in.
This is the series right now. I mean, this is the series to do it.
I mean, if the Yankees are going to wake up, they got to wake up now because we cannot afford another series. And look, again, if they lose the series to Tampa, is the season over? No. But you don't want to start the season 2-4 against Toronto and then 2-4 against the Rays. You just don't want to do it. You're not going to put yourself in an advantageous position. So come out here, win a fucking pair of games in this 3-game set and start stacking series wins.
Yeah, it's got to start
Oh.
here. It's got to start here.
Like I'm tired. I said this last time. I'm tired of getting my fucking lunch eaten by the Tampa Bay Rays. Step the fuck up and show them we're the fucking Yankees. You are the fucking little bitches on the schoolyard. We steal your lunch money.
Yeah, it's a statement that they missed an opportunity to make in the first series. You make it this series, and you ride it from there. Start banging.
So tomorrow, when you listen to this Friday, and my wife will never listen to this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Happy anniversary to my wife. We'll be married 5 years.
Been together for 27.
Yeah,
Happy
so it's
anniversary,
been a
Happy
wild
annie,
fucking.
babes.
It's definitely been a wild ride. This last year though, I wouldn't trade for anything. We got our little girl now, and I feel like my life is complete now. Honestly, if I
Aw, Christian.
You're
go
cute.
fuck yourself, you scum.
Make me cry.
You're cute.
Nah, seriously, though, happy anniversary. I'm very
Seriously.
happy for the two of you and
And one
the
of
great
and one of
family
my
you have.
biggest regrets from my wedding day is that Ryan wasn't there. I wish that we had done the pod earlier so
All
Ryan
right,
could.
now you're really gonna make me cry.
Chris, you still wouldn't have been the best man.
No, I know. Trust me.
Yeah, I
I
would have
know.
hopped over you. In
Something
the
that'll
rankings.
live with me for the rest of my life.
But yeah, we do want to say thank you to my wife for putting up with me for all these years. I know God knows it hasn't been easy, but happy anniversary. And hopefully the anniversary won't be ruined because the Yankees will fucking win a goddamn game on Friday night. We have no idea. This is going to be the most epic pitching match. You know who's in the Yankees rotation. You know who's in the Rays rotation. So you know the possibility for an epic pitching matchup when the Yankees and Rays face, right?
Yes.
So tomorrow night, 7:05 at Yankee Stadium. TBD versus TBD.
Oh, it's the ultimate matchup. He's playing on both sides.
You saw WrestleMania 6 when it was Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. Now it's TBD versus TBD. Then we move on to Saturday. We actually have TBDs going back to back for the Rays. Although I heard Glass now is actually pitching Saturday.
Great.
Against Jordan Montgomery. And then in case he is skipped on Saturday, TBD will be back on the mound for the Rays on Sunday against Garrett fucking Cole.
Sounds like an easy win.
Yep, I'm pitching.
So look, the Yankees have to the Yankees have to win Sunday. Sunday's a must-win game. You're struggling. You need to win a fucking series. Your ace is pitching. You win. That's no excuses. That's a fucking must-win game. I don't care if the Yankees take the first two games of the series. Sunday is a must fucking win. If they take the first two and lose with Garrett Cole on the mound, I'm going to be pissed off. Even though I said start stacking series wins and they'll have accomplished that. But with Garrett Cole on the mound, you don't fucking lose.
Let's do it.
All right, and then they'll have an off day because they'll really fucking need it. And then they'll have 2 against Atlanta. And then I don't know, we're going to have to try to shoehorn in a show here because it's 2 night games versus Atlanta. And then it's a 4-game series against Cleveland, which I think our buddy Munch will be hollering at me at some point there.
Munch, yeah.
So we'll have to
I don't know, man, dude.
I don't know if we'll either have to shoehorn something in. Maybe we'll do a little. Maybe we can do a live pod for one of these games.
Maybe
we'll see how that goes.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Tampa, man, just let's go. Let's win a fucking series here. We got our ace on the mound. That should be one in the bank right there. Find a way to win one of these other 2 games here. I'm not asking for a fucking 20-game winning streak. Win fucking series.
Is that it? I'm in. I told you. I'm down.
Yeah, man.
All right, you're down. You're down for the Yankees to win a couple of games here.
Yeah.
This is a Denny's.
All right. So clearly,
I'm ready to start banging.
You ready to start banging?
Yeah, Boone got me
Start
going.
banging, dude. I'm so hard.
That gives a new meaning to the term "booner for boon."
Booner for boon.
Yeah.
All right, that's why Chris is so quiet because he's thinking he's.
Oh, I'm quiet because my floors are very thin, and I know that people can hear me now. It's hit a point.
I actually started Lord of the Rings at the start of this podcast, and the credits are rolling. I'm just kidding. This is great.
Lord of the Rings is stupid.
Dumb.
No, that's not true. It's actually one of the greatest movie trilogies of all time.
A fucking dwarf walks in the woods for 4 hours.
No, it's the greatest
then in the
movie
second
series
one,
ever.
a dwarf walks in the woods for 4.5 hours.
Elijah's Wood versus Booner's Boone.
In the 5th one, a dwarf walks in the woods for 8 hours and finds a ring.
I'm ending the show without you even saying goodbye.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for listening.
I'm gonna be the guy from X-Men.
We've officially fallen off the rails.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to episode 226 to the NYYST podcast. Follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. Stat Guy Rye.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.